Sadly, we're here today to confirm the recovery of Michael Hernandez, 2008 Toyota from High Meadows Pond in Crown Point on Greenwood Street. Recovery was made approximately 5:30 p.m. yesterday. The body of a male subject believed to be that of Michael Hernandez was located in the vehicle. Initial identification of Hernandez has been made by investigators assigned to the case. Confirmation identification, further identification would be made by DNA comparison. Michael Hernandez was first reported missing on May 1, 2015. Hernandez was last seen at the Crown Point Square on May 1, 2015 at approximately 11:45 p.m. after watching a Blackhawks game at a local establishment. Investigators from both the Crown Point Police Department and the Lake County Police Department commenced an active missing persons investigation. The Lake County Police Department became the lead investigative agency due to the fact that Hernandez resided in unincorporated Lake County, South Lake County, and it was unknown from where his disappearance actually occurred. Friends, family, and media worked to organize rallies, vigils, and searches, which assisted in generating dozens of investigative leads and suggestions from the public. Investigators conducted a thorough inquiry into each and every lead. Investigative information was obtained in the form of testimonial evidence from witnesses who had been with Michael in his last hours, video footage from local establishments, and technology in the form of satellite cellular locates on data devices in Michael's possession. Searches were executed in areas consistent with the cellular data to no avail. Several bodies of water which could have concealed a vehicle were manually checked for evidence of tire tracks leading up to the shoreline. However, there was no such indications. Yesterday, on June 11th, investigators began the process of organizing even more thorough searches of ponds and bodies of water between the Crown Point Square and Hernandez's home in southern Lake County. Divers from the Crown Point Fire Department were assembled at High Meadows and in Crown Point. A cursory search by divers led to the discovery of a large object consistent with a car in the middle of the dark body of muddy water of that pond in approximately 12 feet of water. The vehicle was extracted from the pond and was positively identified as the Hernandez vehicle. Subject found in the vehicle was identified by investigators as Hernandez. An autopsy was performed this morning, and it determined the cause of death to be accidental drowning. There were no signs of trauma, and toxicology reports are pending. I just want to make just some personal remarks that our investigative team, the leads right here, but there were a lot of other officers involved, worked tirelessly for the last 7 weeks, and it became more like a personal issue with a lot of these officers. We have, I'd like to, on behalf of the Lake County Sheriff's Department and also the Crown Point Police Department, extend our deepest sympathy to the family of Michael Hernandez. It's been a very, very trying 7 weeks for them. Evidence at the scene, we had no evidence at the scene to indicate what may have happened. The pond is in close proximity of the residence of the last individual that was with him that night. So that was I think one of the main reasons that we did a more thorough search in that pond and the pond's other bodies of water in that area. When we examine these areas, we examine them from the air, we examine them physically, walking around these areas for any indication where any vehicle or anything could have entered that water. There was no indication at the time. And I'll point out that this pond itself, there was no indication at all that a vehicle had entered that pond.
No skid marks?
None whatsoever, none. It's highly populated. I mean, that's a retention pond in the midst of a subdivision right there, a very busy thoroughfare, Greenwood Avenue, and it's it's just odd that nobody saw anything or heard anything. There were cellular devices in the vehicle. But again, due to when you try to find a cellular a ping from a phone like that, especially after the fact, the triangulation of the signal could be a large area. So that's the reason they covered South County and then even into Jasper County. Last night, Chief Land and I immediately spoke to the family. They came to the scene. They were notified. They came to the scene. The mother, the stepfather, the wife, and we spoke to them. And then our investigators. I had them bring the family away from the scene back to the station here, so they could be dealt with in a more compassionate fashion. So, of course, you know, it's been a long 7 weeks. There's been a lot of public attention with this disappearance, and as a matter of fact, they had a search plan for tomorrow.
It was a very frustrating process. We put a lot of heart and soul into this case. I worked endless hours for the last 7 weeks, dedicated a lot of time to looking for him in this vehicle. It was very tough. I'm just glad that we can bring closure to the family in this situation. It's taken a toll on me personally. It's affected my family as well. So.
How so?
I have children as well, so makes you want to go home and hug your kids more. I think we all kept the same hope throughout the investigation. I don't think anybody gave up on looking for him. I don't think anybody gave up on the fact of whether he was alive or not. I don't think that was a possibility. We just put all our heart and soul into it and kept looking. I think this really brought the community together. You don't see a situation like this that goes on this long, and for hundreds of people to show up for an organized search and take days off of work or take time out of their day to show up and help this family was very nice.
Our role yesterday was when we were contacted by the Sheriff's Department investigators yesterday afternoon to see about if we could organize our dive team. So we made those arrangements, and I think from the initial phone call from the Sheriff's Department with that request, I think we were at the scene within 90 minutes. So it was a tough scene.
We've, you know, being in law enforcement, we're veterans here and everything, you see a lot. And when you have a situation like this where the family has been put through so much grief and torment, you know, it's a sad ending to a story. But again, you know, it's a young man's life is 23 years old. He's gone. So, you know, sad, very sad ending.